Hello, everybody. My name is Miles, and I'll be taking you government today. First, because of this study, we are going to see what the meaning of government is. We're also going to analyze the framework and specify the institution of government. We'll also come to learn the basic principles of democratic governance and their application in Nigeria. Then, we'll also explain the concept of citizen and define the duties and obligation of a citizen. Then, we evaluate the political development and problem of governance in Nigeria. We also understand the determinants and dynamics of foreign policy as it relates to Nigeria. And lastly, we will discuss the access of roles of Nigeria as member of an international community and the workings of international organization. Well, if you take note, I made mention of the term government. Ever heard of the meaning of government before? Well, government may be defined as an agency or machinery through which the will of a state is formulated, expressed, and realized. This word government, it is categorized into three aspects. First, as an institution of a state, as an art of governing, and an academic field of study. As an institution of a state, it can be defined as a state because it consists of the legislative, the executive, and judiciary that has the authority over the affairs of the state. It is also seen as a machinery institution set up by the state to organize and administer its affairs and make sure the will of the state is formulated, expressed, and realized. Government, as an act of governing, well, I will ascribe it to as a body conferred with the authority of managing, administering the affairs of the state through its maintaining law and order, security, ensuring of peace. It is also concerned with the exercise of authority, control, administration of laws in the states. I also mentioned what government is relating to academic field of study. As an academic field of study, it refers to the study of political institutions in the states, the ideas, the values, the doctrine about the politics and the political ideas on what constitutes the people's welfare. It is also seen as a subject that is taught in schools. Having mentioned what government is, what are the functions of government? 1. It is responsible for lawmaking and order in a state. In what sense? Well, through the help of the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, laws and order are made in a state. 2. Administration of justice in a state. With also the help of the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature, we see justice being applicable in our states today. 3. Protection of lives and property. Today, government uses the armed forces to protect our life and also our properties too. 4. Provision of jobs, that is, to gain employment through the government. From our previous class, we discussed about what government is, the characteristics of government, and its functions. Today, we are going to discuss about the basic concepts in government. But what will be our primary objective? Our objective would be to identify the fundamental concepts in governance and also analyze the various political processes. But the word basic concept, what does it entails? The term basic concept, it refers to those words, those terms and prepositions which assist us in the perception and description of what government is all about. Some of the basic concepts of government include power. Well, when we hear about power, does that brings our mind back to physical strength or to show muscles? Well, certainly not. The government terminology for power, it refers it to as a rational concept in the sense that it refers to the relationship between or among human beings. It is also seen as the ability for one person to control the actions of another person even if that person does not want to do so. Many a times, individuals have come to mistake power for influence. The threat of sanction differentiates between power from influence. And unlike power, influence is the ability to affect the decision through persuasion. The next basic concept of government is authority. Ever heard of the term authority before? Well, authority is seen as the power which is popularly or constitutionally recognized. It is also seen as the ability to get people to do things because they think an individual or group has the right to tell them what to do. A political philosopher, Mark Weber, distinguished the three types of authority, which are charismatic authority, traditional authority, and legal rational authority. To Max Weber, authority is charismatic when the people accept a superior's order as justified because of the influence of his personality with which they identify. Also, to Max Weber, authority is also seen as traditional when these people accept the orders of the superior as justified on the ground that this is the way things are and always the way things ought to be and recognized by the tradition. Max Weber also referred to authority as a legal rational authority. As a legal rational authority, it refers to when these people accept a ruling to be justified because it agrees with a set of more abstract rules which they consider legitimate and from which the ruling is derived. From the above definition of legal rational authority, the term legitimate was made mention of. This is also a basic concept of government, which is known as legitimacy. Legitimacy. It is seen as an idea that those who govern have the rightful authority to do so. Legitimacy is promise that pursuit of one value will prove compatible with the pursuit or enjoyment of other values. And this legitimacy have various kinds, which includes legitimacy by procedures, legitimacy by result, and legitimacy by representation. The next basic concept is sovereignty. The word sovereignty is derived from the Latin word supranus, and it means supremacy. It is the power of a state to make law and enforce the law with all the means of coercion it may decide to employ. And this word sovereignty, it was first used by French writer Jean Bodin, who introduced sovereignty into political theory, and the purpose of this was to restore harmony and stability in the European states of the medieval era, which then was known for its destructive struggle between secular and religious power. So Bodin introduced an absolute monarch as a cure for divisions that led to the Civil War in France. And to Bodin, sovereignty is a supreme power over the citizen, and it is not bound by the law it makes. But another political philosopher has his own idea, who was Grotius, and he focused more on external sovereignty, which means that independence of a state from external control. And this definition is what is widely accepted by many today. The next basic concept is state. I will refer it to an independent sovereign government exercising control within a specified territory where its borders are usually clearly defined and internationally recognized by other states. And the state is heterogeneous in nature. It is also categorized by population, territory, government, and sovereignty. You see, the absence of even one of these elements, a state cannot really be a state. Nation. You see, some persons mistake nation for a state. But what really is a nation? It is a group of people who see themselves as a cohesive and coherent unit based on shared cultural historical criteria. Nation is also a socially constructed unit, not given by nature, and their existence, definition, and members can change dramatically based on circumstance. It is also seen as an emerging community that are bound together by notions of unity that can pivot around religion, ethnic identity, language, cultural practice, and so forth. It should be noted that states may not equal nation, but some states may contain all or part of multiple nations, and a nation is said to be homogeneous. So we've discussed what a nation is, what a state is. But what if a country possesses both characteristics? Well, a nation state. Whenever we hear of the term nation state, It has the attributes of both a nation and a state. And since it has both attributes, it is defined as a sovereign state which most of the citizens or subjects are united also by the factors which define a nation, such as language or common descent. The last basic concept today is the society. Well, society is seen as a group of individuals who are involved in persistent social interaction, who are also sharing the same geographical or social territory, and also subjected to the same political authority and a dominant cultural expectations. And a common example of a society is the civil society. We have come to a conclusion of our today's section, and we have discussed what basic concepts involve and some of the basic concepts in government today. But what are the political processes of government and how are political ideas passed on? This will be discussed in our next section.